California Senator Dianne Feinstein is running for her 6th term. 6. So she's been around for a while. And in an interesting bit of news, the California Democratic Party decided not to endorse her. Delegates at the California Democratic Party convention on Saturday denied an endorsement to the veteran lawmaker, who received only 37% of the nearly 2,800 votes cast. Her principal challenger, State Senate Leader Kevin De Leon, received 54% of the vote, just short of the 60% threshold to capture the Democratic endorsement. Now, Kevin De Leon is not the perfect replacement for Dianne Feinstein. There's an actual real progressive in the race who isn't getting any attention, and I'll get to a bit of that at the end of the video. But I just want to focus on Feinstein for a second here. So Feinstein is as conservative as you can get in the Democratic Party. So here's a list of a few things that she doesn't support. Medicare for all. Nope. A livable wage. Nope. Campaign finance reform. Nope. Tuition-free college. Nope. Reining in Wall Street. Nope. Dianne Feinstein is a conservative in the Democratic Party. But she is a Democrat, just by name, not by what she actually supports. But if you check out any conservative websites, or I guess more specifically the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's website, here's the headline that they had for Dianne Feinstein. The Stupid Party. California Democrats reject hard-line leftist Senator Dianne Feinstein for insufficient radicalism. Hard-line leftist Dianne Feinstein. You can't make this up. I mean, Shapiro made it up, but I wouldn't be able to make up this headline and think that somebody would take this seriously. This is an onion piece. Dianne Feinstein is as conservative as you can possibly get in the Democratic Party, and she really should be a Republican. But because she supports some proper gun reforms and crazy things like gay marriage, then somehow she is now a hardline leftist. So this is what conservatives do. People like Ben Shapiro are paid by big money donors to create this idea that extreme moderates in the Democratic Party are far leftists, because they want you to think that the Democratic Party is just so insanely left. They're just so crazy. But the Democratic Party doesn't support things like Wall Street reform, or campaign finance reform, or Medicare for all, or tuition-free college, or a livable wage. These are issues that divide the actual left from the fakes, from people like Dianne Feinstein, who is not a leftist and should be in the Republican Party, if any party at all. I think at this point, she's likely to lose this next election, though poll numbers may show differently. And I'll get to that point in a minute here. But a little more on Feinstein from Paste Magazine, from a Paste Magazine piece by Jason Rode. Look up her record. She scoffs at single payer. She voted to confirm 9 of Trump's squad of rapacious plunderers. Feinstein supports capital punishment and has been a longtime encourager of the drug war. In 2006, she publicly backed a cynical and shabby amendment to ban flag desecration, which the Seattle Times described as an interesting word, given its connotations of religious devotion. She consistently supports the most draconian DRM tech protections. That means the heavy hand of IP lawyers on the internet, on cable, and satellite channels. And then there's her affection for national security. So again, Feinstein is not a hardline leftist. Let's just make sure that's clear. I think most of you watching this video know that, but if you're stuck in the world of Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, you really don't know what the hell is going on, because he is not giving you the honest truth of where the political spectrum is. Just briefly, I have to mention, the vast majority of people, when polled, support Medicare for all or support a government-funded healthcare system. The vast majority of people, 60%, support that. So that would be considered a center position because the majority of people support it. Dianne Feinstein is against that. So she would be to the right of that issue. She is a conservative. Now, let me get to the poll number thing, because while she doesn't have the endorsement of the California Democratic Party, she is still currently leading in the polls. So in a recent Public Policy Institute of California poll, Feinstein leads Kevin De Leon by nearly 30 percentage points, 46% to 17%, among likely California voters. Now, don't let those poll numbers fool you. The reason why Feinstein leads by 30 percentage points in polling right now is because she has been a senator there since the early 90s. People know who she is. She has name recognition. So a lot of people aren't going to say, yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy named Kevin De Leon, when they don't know who the hell Kevin De Leon is. They're going to be like, oh, I know Feinstein, and I'm going to check that one. But we're going to see what happens. If Kevin De Leon has a good ground game, then I think he may be able to overcome this. Now, there's somebody that is missing from this entire conversation, and that's Justice Democrat Allison Hartson. So as The Intercept reported, Justice Democrats endorsed activist Allison Hartson has earned the most small donor donations in the race, even more than Feinstein. Hartson was not on the Senate endorsement ballot, though another challenger, attorney Pat Harris, was. So Allison Hartson, despite having the most small donor donations in the race, wasn't even on the Senate endorsement ballot. And she also wasn't in that poll that I cited earlier, the poll where Feinstein is leading by 30 percentage points. Hartson wasn't on it. And this shows you how broken this system is. Small donors don't hold the power. Big money holds the power. Corporations hold the power. Those massive endorsements from big names and corporations hold the power. So if you don't get the media recognition that you deserve, like Allison Hartson does for raising the most small donor donations, then you're not going to get the name recognition. And if you're not going to get the name recognition, then you're also not going to get the votes. And if you're not, and even before all that, if you aren't getting that support from the established powers that exist within the party, then you aren't getting on the polls. So if you're not even an option in polling, then even less people know who you are. So Kevin De Leon, just the very fact that he's in that poll with Dianne Feinstein, he is receiving attention. His name is getting out there. Allison Hartson, despite raising the most small donor donations and really being a true progressive on all the issues, she's not being included in the conversation. And that's because voters don't hold the power in America. It's quite a screwed up system you have there. It's crazy. So unfortunately, because of that, it seems like it's going to be impossible for Hartson to make any real movement in the race here. But at the very least, it's possible that Feinstein may possibly lose to Kevin De Leon. But we're going to have to wait and see. Hey, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider throwing me a few bucks on Patreon at patreon.com/therationalnational or therationalnational.com/join.